Think you know how to fly in 2025? Think again. The rules have changed again. And this time the airlines aren't broadcasting them. They're slipping them into fine print, updating them overnight, and quietly enforcing them at the last minute when it's already too late to fix it. You arrive thinking you're prepared, only to find that your power backup is suddenly non-compliant, your carry-on is over by a half inch, and your gate has moved twice without notice. Travelers are getting hit with surprise luggage fees, denied boarding from missing microchecks, and fined for seatbelt violations they didn't know existed. What used to be annoying is now expensive. What used to be flexible is now grounds for delay. If you haven't checked the new rules down to the letter, you are the target. These changes aren't designed to help you travel smarter, they're designed to shift responsibility onto you when something goes wrong. If you get caught off guard this summer, if you miss a line of policy hidden between ads and app updates, if you find yourself stranded, delayed, or charged more than your flight costs just to board, no one's gonna help you. And frankly, that's on you. Subscribe now so it never happens again. This isn't speculation, these are confirmed, already active, and affecting real travelers every day. Quiet changes, quietly enforced. They don't make headlines because they're not meant to. One by one, airlines are shifting the weight of responsibility onto you while charging more for less. What used to be included is now itemized. What used to be policy is now penalty. From federal level tech rollouts to contractual fine print written in marketing language, it's all designed to keep you compliant, confused, and paying. But if you understand what's happening behind the scenes, you can sidestep the worst of it. Not with hacks, not with points, but with knowledge. Real, useful, and up to date. These aren't updates you scroll past. These are changes that cost you time, money, and your seat on the flight. So let's break them down, one rule at a time, and show you how to fly smarter in 2025, not just cheaper, because this summer, knowing is saving. Let's start with something you were never meant to notice, the solo traveler surcharge. For months, Delta quietly added up to $90 extra for people booking just one seat. Same flight, same cabin, same fare class, but the price jumped only if you were alone. Our tests on Google Flights confirmed it. One passenger, $428. Two passengers, $361 each. The math doesn't lie. You are being charged for flying solo. Business flyers, weekend travelers, anyone not booking in pairs. It wasn't labeled as a fee, it didn't appear in any breakdown, but the pattern held, and once the backlash hit, Delta scaled it back. Not because they had to, but because it got caught. And now that model, solo fares, priced higher than group, is showing up elsewhere. It's not a glitch, it's a strategy. Next time you book, check prices with a partner first, even if you don't plan to travel with one. What's happening isn't illegal, it's invisible. And if you don't look for it, you'll never know it's there. If this kind of tactic can slide right past the public and no one's calling it out, then you're flying blind. Subscribe now, stay ahead. United Airlines made one change on June 3rd that's already ruined hundreds of trips, a 45-minute cutoff. No exceptions. If you're not fully checked in and at the counter exactly 45 minutes before departure, you're done. Doesn't matter if it's 44 minutes and 59 seconds. Doesn't matter if the line was long. Doesn't matter if your Uber was 5 minutes late. Even gate agents can't help you. The system locks them out. One traveler missed his brother's wedding. Another lost a job interview across the country. Not because they were late to the airport, they just didn't know the rule changed. This isn't the old check-in window. It's stricter, automated, and final. Your only buffer now is the night before. Open your airline's app, check in before bed, save the boarding pass. Don't assume a human will be able to fix it. They can't. They've been taken out of the equation. Subscribe now and navigate 2025 without getting left behind. Southwest used to be the outlier, the airline that didn't nickel and dime you. Bags flew free, credits never expired, you picked your seat when you boarded. It wasn't just branding, it was a clear contrast to everyone else. But that's over. In 2025, they quietly introduced expiration dates on unused travel credits. In early 2026, they're phasing in assigned seating. And for the first time, industry analysts confirm Southwest is testing bag fees in specific markets, with plans to roll out more. It's not just about a fee, it's about the last airline built on simplicity, slowly aligning itself with the same models it once rejected. If you thought one company was still loyal to passengers, this is your notice. Because when even Southwest is starting to conform, you know something shifted. And if travelers don't pay attention now, there won't be anything left to protect. If they even are walking away from loyalty, you need a channel that won't. Subscribe before the next perk becomes a charge. It started with smoke.
A 2025 flight over East Asia was forced into an emergency landing when a passenger's power bank overheated mid-air. Cabin crew couldn't contain it fast enough. The battery fire spread under pressure and regulators took notice. Now, the rules have changed. Your power bank isn't just a gadget anymore. It's a regulated item. It must go in your personal bag under the seat. Overhead bins? Off limits. Some carriers, like those in the EU and parts of Asia, are banning in-flight charging altogether. And here's the kicker. It doesn't matter how many devices you bring. If just one is packed wrong, you're the problem. You could be flagged, pulled aside, or worse, removed before boarding. Want to avoid that headline moment? Stick to certified brands like Anchor, and never stash lithium batteries where you can't reach them, because one power bank in the wrong pocket, that's all it takes to get grounded. If you've tried booking a flight to the US from Europe or Canada lately and thought, why is this so limited? You're not imagining it. Airlines are pulling back. In the last year, bookings dropped 10% from Europe, 33% from Canada, and the response has been swift. Lufthansa, British Airways, Webjet, all slashing US routes, quietly, strategically. The fallout? Fewer options, higher prices, less flexibility. A last-minute ticket from Montreal to Boston that once cost $220, now closer to $500. Non-stop flights to mid-tier US cities? Vanishing. This isn't a one-time shuffle, it's a shift in strategy. Airlines are prioritizing profitable hubs and sidelining the rest. Here's your move. Book earlier, set flight alerts, and if you're flexible, don't rule out a short train ride or layover. Indirect routes are becoming the smart traveler's secret weapon, because the old convenience of cross-border flying, it's thinning out fast.
Not every update this year comes with a warning. Some actually work in your favor. Starting June 2025, United and JetBlue quietly launched a partnership that, for once, simplifies your life as a traveler. Here's what changed. You can now earn and redeem points interchangeably. That means your United miles work on JetBlue flights. JetBlue points, spend them on United. No hoops. Your elite status counts too. A JetBlue Mosaic member can now board earlier, skip lines, and check bags free on United. And vice versa. No downgrade, no disclaimers. But here's the part frequent flyers will feel the most: routes. Suddenly, JetBlue passengers can access United's international network, while United flyers gain more domestic reach out of JFK and Newark. One app, two airlines, more flexibility. A rare moment where loyalty is rewarded and the system finally works in your favor. Starting January 8, 2025, showing your passport is no longer enough to enter the UK. US and Canadian citizens now need an ETA, an electronic travel authorization. It's a digital permission slip you have to apply for online, even if you're just visiting for a weekend. It costs £16, is valid for 2 years, and without it, you won't even be allowed to board your flight. No exceptions. What's catching travelers off guard isn't the price, it's the timing. Applications can take a few days. Airlines have already begun turning passengers away at the gate for not having it in advance. Apply at least a week before your trip. That's your margin for error. And while this adds a layer of hassle, it could be worse. Europe's own version, ETIAS, was supposed to start this year too. That's now delayed to 2026. But make no mistake, this is the new template. More countries, more authorizations, more digital hoops. If you're not planning ahead, you're not traveling. You hear the wheels hit the runway. The plane slows. A few clicks echo as passengers unbuckle. You stretch, stand, reach for the overhead bin, and just like that, your $700 trip turns into a $1,000 mistake. At Istanbul Airport, it's not just a bad habit anymore. It's now a legally enforced offense. A new aviation regulation in Turkey means standing before the seatbelt sign is off can land you a fine of over $1,000. Yes, 1,000. No warning, no gray area. And here's the part no one expects. Flight attendants are now required to report it. It's written into their compliance duties, not personal, just policy. You might think, I've done this 100 times, never been stopped. That's the problem. The rule's been ignored for years until now. Enforcement has teeth, and it's being tested on international flyers who didn't get the memo. This isn't about crowd control. It's about incident liability and air safety regulations pushed by insurance policies you'll never read. Behind closed doors, fines like this are becoming part of the global travel playbook. So what's the real message? Stay seated. Not because it's polite, because it's now expensive.
There's a silent tax most travelers still pay, and it's not baggage or boarding fees. It's data, roaming charges, the stress of landing in a foreign country and scrambling for airport Wi-Fi that barely works. But there's a smarter option now, and it doesn't require you to swap plastic chips with a paperclip in a crowded terminal. eSIMs, digital SIM cards that activate directly on your phone. No physical swap, no delay, just land, connect, and go. And the one company turning this from a tech gimmick into a true travel solution? Saily. Their eSIMs are built for international travelers who actually want to use their phones, without rationing data or hunting for signal bars at a cafe window. You can buy a plan, scan a QR code, and have service before you even leave the jet bridge. No roaming fees, no mystery charges, no missed Uber pickups because your carrier wasn't supported in this region. It's not just convenience, it's travel sanity in your pocket, and most people still don't know it exists. What if today's travel tips are already outdated by next month? Because these 8 changes, the biometric boarding lens, the new solo traveler surcharges, the seatbelt fines, even the digital SIM revolution, they're not isolated tweaks, they're signals, quiet shifts in how the system is learning you, tracking you, and reshaping what it means to be a passenger in 2025. And if you thought this was the full picture, it's not. In our next breakdown, we'll expose the in-flight perks quietly being pulled from under frequent flyers, and the shocking truth about how seat selection is no longer random or fair. Airlines are using real-time behavior data to decide who gets squeezed and who gets silently upgraded. If you want to stay ahead of the travel curve, not stuck behind it, now's the time. Which of today's changes caught you off guard? Drop it in the comments. We're watching them all, and we might feature your take next episode. You book the ticket, you check the weather, you pack your bag, you do everything right. But if you're not watching the rules, the ones changing quietly behind the scenes, then all it takes is one missed update and your entire trip unravels. A denied boarding, a $1,000 fine, a digital ID you didn't know you needed. It's not just about being informed, it's about being ready. That's why we make these, not for clicks, for travelers, for people who still believe preparation matters even in a world that keeps moving the goalposts. But if this channel slips out of your feed, if the algorithm buries the next warning, you could miss the one thing that would have saved your next flight. So here's what you do. Click that button, fly smart, travel safe, and we'll see you in the next one.